Hello, everybody. Welcome to Module 5. We are going to be exploring middle and late adulthood in this module. Typically, when we have two stages of our lifespan, it's broken up into two separate readings, but our middle and late adulthood readings are combined into one main reading here under our Module 5 readings. And then we have the supplementary materials for middle and late adulthood here with additional links. And then a video lecture transcript that focuses strictly on middle adulthood. So please use these resources for your RGOs, for your assignments, for your discussions. And this is where you will find all of the needed material for the week, as we know. All right, our RGO this week is a little different. We are going to try using Cornell Notes. So it's a little different, but I think that you will like this process. And again, one of the reasons that I do this in this course is to give you different opportunities for note-taking. We know that not everything works for every single person, so I wanted to have different opportunities each week or a few times throughout our course. So Cornell Notes is a lot of fun. You can see here it's kind of broken up into key points. So of course the class is human development. You can put the date here. We could put middle, and late adulthood here. And in the first section, it's key points of the reading. So you should include 10 key points that you learned about in the middle and late adulthood readings. You can see the example here is we could have physical development of middle adulthood or of late adulthood and so on. So there should be 10 total key points. And then in this box, you'll just break down each key point with some key details. So our example is our key point is physical development of middle adulthood. And the details are there is not any new physical growth and few developmental changes. Systems start to deteriorate a little. Vision, hearing, weight gain, joint pain, and so on. The start of menopause is for women. Lifestyle is important during this period to stay healthy. And then you could give an example. So just some basic details here, just to kind of help you remember the key main points of the readings. You will do that for 10 key points with 10 details. And then in the next section, 10 key terms that I need to know. So one of the examples here is total marriage. You can give an example of what total marriage is, and then an explanation here. Intrinsic marriage, where they share every aspect of their lives, also emotionally intense, and give an example here. Simply just an example of a key term with examples that you could find within our readings for the week. Finally, a summary, just an overall summary of what you've learned here. Just sum up the key points with a few words. It can be done here with just some key terms with some key details, some overall points that you gained learning about middle and late adulthood. So I hope you like the Cornell Notes option here. Maybe you'll use it in a future course. Maybe it'll be your go-to in your note-taking, and maybe it won't, but it's nice to have that opportunity to experience a new way. Okay, so that is our reading graphic organizer that of course is due Tuesday of Module 5. Our multimedia discussion is going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is the midlife crisis. So after reviewing the course reading for this module, conduct your own internet search on midlife crisis, myth or reality in your discussion post. So within our reading, we do touch on the midlife crisis, but I would like for you then to take it a step further and do an additional search for finding out, what is this midlife crisis thing we've heard our whole lives? Are people really going out and buying hot red Corvettes at age 51, or are they not? So just kind of do some search. You can do a specific search in your research with this title, Adulthood, Midlife Crisis, Myth or Reality, or change it up in some way. But basically, we would like you to find some sort of key information is going to let us know or tell us further what this midlife crisis idea is all about. Is it a myth or is it real? So include the link of your article or video into the discussion topic so that we can explore further ourselves. And then discuss the physical, cognitive, and emotional changes that span between the ages of 35 to 65 Do these changes pose an inevitable midlife crisis? Why or why not? In the midlife crisis, or is the midlife crisis a myth or is it a reality in need of understanding in our contemporary culture? How has your view of adulthood changed after conducting your research? So this week we're not choosing different topics, we're just kind of focusing on this main topic, and I'm hoping through your discussion and including your multimedia post here that we can really have a good conversation, have some good evidence that will point us in the direction that we seek. Please make sure that you post your initial post by Thursday, and don't forget to respond to your 2 classmates. That's how you can scoop up an extra 10 points that are pretty important on your discussion board. Yes, so that is our discussion for the week. And then finally, our module-related assignment for the week. This week, you want to use your readings and 2 outside sources to create 5 interesting interview questions that you would like to ask someone in middle to late adulthood about ways to enhance optimal aging. Find out and ask what is working for them to live at their best, right? Living our best life, and what has not worked. Then I want you to conduct the interview with somebody in your life who is in that middle to late adulthood, 35 to 65. And after you have conducted your interview, write a 1 to 2 page instructional manual for people in midlife or late adulthood to enhance their optimal aging. So as we slow down, you're first going to come up with 5 interesting interview questions that will surround this topic of how to enhance our aging process in an optimal way, what works for the person you are interviewing and what does not. Then I would like you to interview someone in the age range of 35 to 65, asking them your 5 interview questions. And then based on the interview that you have conducted, what you've learned about that particular person and what their points are, pros and cons to optimal aging, along with our readings for the week and 2 outside sources, compile all of that information into what we'd like to call instructional manual. Should be about 1 to 2 pages. This is going to be posed to go towards people who are entering into midlife or later adulthood who want to be able to live our life at optimum range. So living our best life. So we could title our instructional manual, How to Live Our Best Life, right? And just explain what you have learned based on your research and your interview, how one would go about living their best life. In your research, you should include the readings from this week as a source, as well as 2 outside sources. You could, in fact, use the sources that you used that helped you understand midlife crisis if there was something interesting there. Any outside source that, of course, is not Wikipedia, that is going to help you in understanding how to age in the most optimal level that we can, because all of us would like to know how to age gracefully. We would all like to learn from those that have gone before us on what works and what doesn't work. And it's really, really interesting to get those kinds of insider tips when we conduct an actual interview. So in total, you're interviewing somebody, you are using the readings for the week, and you are gathering 2 outside sources to compile an instructional manual that explains how we can learn to age at our most optimal level. Once you've created your instructional manual, you will also want to include those 5 interview questions that you use to interview your interviewee. And you don't need to write out exactly what the person you interviewed said. You just need to include the actual questions at the end or at the beginning of your manual. And it just kind of helps us, what did you actually ask that person? In your manual, if you want to use direct quotes from the person you're interviewing, or focus on the fact that this manual was created based on an interview and outside research, you're certainly welcome to be more candid with how you want to present that. But for the purpose of the research, the interview is just mainly set up for you to find out the questions that you want to ask, talk to a person who's experiencing midlife or middle or late adulthood, and then along with your research, come up with how you might suggest how to live your best life or how to age optimally. Again, it is up to you how much detail you want to include in your quote-unquote manual that came directly from the interview. I will leave that up to you. Okay, so in total you have 2 outside sources in addition to our readings for the week. You will be including the 5 interview questions and then writing up an instructional manual for ways to enhance at optimal level or enhance our optimal aging. So I hope that you have fun with this. I hope that you enjoy the interview experience. Usually my students do, because they are interviewing somebody who is in that life process. And middle and late adulthood is not a time that people typically want to talk about. So I hope that you will find these questions inspiring, and maybe it'll give you some tips on how to age at your optimal level once you reach that stage of the game. That pretty much concludes our module for the week. Looking ahead, next week we have one more big module, which is module 6. We'll be focusing on death and dying. And then our module 7 is focusing on our final assignments. So just a reminder, make sure that you are thinking to yourself how you want to go about your final project. And if you want to start working on that, that's great. If you have any questions for me about final projects, let me know. That module will be opening on June 28th. So expect next week module 6 and module 7 opening at the same time to give you the opportunity to have extra time to work on those assignments. So in my video next week, I will likely have 2 separate videos that dive into module 6, death and dying, as well as some final assignment tips. All right, everybody, I hope you're enjoying your summer. I hope you're enjoying your time in human development, and know that I will be getting some grading completed this weekend. And if you have any questions, as always, email me through Canvas. I'm always here to help you at the best that I can. So I look forward to your upcoming assignments, and I will see you next week in my next video. Thanks, everyone.